Today on Locked On Phoenix Suns, Ryan Dunn has seen his shooting fall off and his minutes dip over the past month of the season, even as the Suns have battled injuries. Is this a rookie wall? Is it something more? Time to change expectations? Plus, Beal is back and the Suns have 2 winnable games coming up. Let's go.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Phoenix Suns. I'm Brendon Kleen, a staff writer at Awful Announcing and a credentialed Suns media member. Thank you for making Locked On Suns your first listen to kick off your game day Thursday. Don't forget Locked On Suns, free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button and do what thousands of other Suns fans have already done. Become an everydayer and get locked onto the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. Today's episode brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook. Start the season with a big return on FanDuel, where new customers can place a $5 bet and get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win. Visit FanDuel.com right now to get started. Joining me as always from the Wild West Valley, my fellow Suns credentialed media member. How are we feeling on this Thursday? Ben Garcia.
I'm excited to get back in the at Footprint Center. We haven't been there in a little bit. It has genuinely felt like a really long time since we've been there. I also want to point out that, yes, I'm doing well, but Brendon is wearing a Minnesota Timberwolves shirt, and I just wanted to point it out so that the comment section can roast him for it.
You can just you missed the Jimmy shirt the other day, but you were onto this one right away. You called Shai Gilgeous-Alexander my guy yesterday, and I just have to defend myself by saying that Anthony Edwards is my guy. If I have a guy that's not on the Suns, it's Ant. And I'm sorry that he happened to sweep the Suns. I didn't do this, but I have receipts. I have been writing about Ant glowingly, including comparing him out of college to Devin Booker since 2020. So it's not because of the sweep. It has nothing to do with that. I've always loved Ant, so I am who I am. I'm sorry.
You and I are pretty close of like players that we enjoy watching out of for the longest time. My guy, and even still, was Russell Westbrook, even though he's so inefficient, and you could argue that MVP
not a Russ guy.
You could argue that MVP little dicey, probably shouldn't have got it, but I love Russell Westbrook.
I like the athletic twos a little more than the athletic ones, but
I love Morant too. I'm not sure how well it works in the NBA, but Anthony Edwards is just a funny one to fall in love with because they swept the Suns. Either way. Yeah. Back to more pressing matters on the agenda.
More pressing matters, starting with Ryan Dunn. We will get to a question that I have for Ben about Beal's return and our early thoughts on these Pacers and Pistons games coming up here. But it really kind of started like after Thanksgiving is where I would put this trend, Ben, where the past, let's see, like 7 games that Dunn has played, about 10 total because he did miss some time with the injury. But the point is, before the injury this was happening, he is like 3 of 10, 11, 12 from deep. Not a terrible, but the attempts have been a lot lower as well. And his minutes are just falling off. 9 minutes against Brooklyn in a loss, 13 as he came back against Utah, even with his shot falling in that game, 14, 15 against Portland, despite them having some guards. You might have said, hey, it would be nice to see what Dunn could do against Anthony Simons or Shaedon Sharpe or whatever. Mike Budenholzer kind of told us how he saw Dunn from the beginning, and all of us just got hyped up. But how do you see this kind of stretch of the season? Is it a rookie wall? Is Bud kind of putting him in a little bit of a developmental moment? Do we need to reevaluate what we thought of him after that strong start? Where are you at?
I do think we need to reevaluate a little bit, including myself, the Ryan Dunn fan club, because it just hasn't been fair to Dunn, who I don't think forgot how to shoot. I think just regressed to the mean a little bit. But even with that, there hasn't been a consistency in the lineup with Kevin Durant being gone or Bradley Beal being gone. And at times it's just Devin Booker. And what we've always said about Ryan Dunn is, how well is he going to do with getting a bunch of open shots, working around 3-star players that other teams are going to dare him to make? And to start the season, when everyone was healthy, he was making those shots because for a large part, they were open. He's never going to be a guy, or at least in the short term, who's going to be able to hit I mean, even somewhat contested shots. The guy still can't hit a free throw. I still believe in his defensive tenacity, which is why I think in the second part of this that Bud needs to get him more minutes, because in the playoffs, whether they like it or not, they're going to have to use him and deploy him effectively against other teams like a Shea or a Luka, because he's the only guy that really matches up with any of those dudes. So it's just been a roller coaster ride so far with him. I need to get a better understanding of Ryan Dunn when we finally get everyone back, which God only knows if that's ever going to happen anytime soon. Well, I guess we could tomorrow, but still, I just need to see him with that lineup, because then if we get back to Ryan Dunn of the beginning season with everyone all healthy and he was supposed to be in his role and he's the same guy, then I'm not so worried about it. But if he still struggles, that's where my worries start to come from, is how much of it was an early season, just hot streak, and how much of it was he just needs to benefit off of the big three. What about you?
My issue is that the shots are still open. It's not like teams saw him shoot 37% for 2 weeks at the beginning of the year and started scrambling to run after him, close out all the time, or glue a guy to him when he's spacing the floor, right? Like, he's getting most of these shots are still open, and he's getting, I guess the Josh Okogie treatment, the Ish Wainwright treatment, whatever you kind of want to plug in there among all these like questionable wings that the Suns have had to throw out as their roster has gotten thinner and thinner over the past few years. He's in that situation right now, and that is keeping the shots open, but it's also putting a lot more pressure on him because, like you said, that's the whole plan for the defense. Let that guy shoot. And I told you from the beginning of the season that I was a little worried about it, right? Where it's nice to be that guy where, okay, you're the energy, you're the athleticism, you're the youth that we needed, but the opposing team's not just going to let you be the fun, cute, go get steals and go get a transition dunk guy. They're going to test you, and I think we're kind of in that portion of things. And like I said, Bud, I think, knew that this season would be rocky. He said from the beginning, Ryan needs to continue to be aggressive, and we're looking at him as, he's a rookie and he's going to develop, not he's a rotation player and this is just a boon for our team. The last thing I want to throw at you, though, as I pass it back to you, Ben, is free throw, which tells us a lot about how good a shooter a player can be. That was always the worry about him coming out of school, even more than the three-point. He was 52 of 99 in 2 years at Virginia. He's 5 of 12 from free throw this season, 42%.
Some ugly misses, though, worried. Man. Some ugly misses from the free throw line. I think, if I'm not mistaken, misses. I was at a game where he airballed one and then hit the back iron on another. He just must have been sitting there working on his corner three the entire time, and they were like, hey, listen, you're not going to get fouled a ton and get to the line, so we'll worry about that when we get there. The only thing, just kind of going back to the Bud thing, I do wish Bud would give him a little bit more of a longer leash. And I wish I could compare it to Oso's, but he kind of gives both guys a fairly short leash. And if they have a string
because they just have better options, right?
Well, yeah, but you're going to need those guys, man. You're going to need Ryan Dunn. There's still no one on this roster that matches up with anyone defensively as well as Ryan Dunn does. Now, is he going to hold those guys to 10 points a game? I don't know, but you're going to need that guy.
Let me chime in on the defense because this is something too. And let me put my basketball nerd, I used to cover the NBA draft hat on, which I did. And I did this show during a lot of years where that was, quite frankly, the only thing I was talking about. His lower body needs to get stronger. He is not as pliable and slithery around screens and holding up in terms of bodying downhill scorers and post scorers, which, a guy like Luka is kind of a combination of all types of scoring. Shea, similar. He doesn't have that. So I know we like to throw the Mikal comp or whatever. Mikal was quite a bit older at this point, and even as a rookie, he was pretty physically not so strong yet. That part of his game is not there. So he is maybe one of their better options, but I just look at this last game, Ben, 36 minutes for Durant, 37 for Booker. You're not messing with that. 32 for Royce, 24 for Grayson, and again, 15 for Dunn. I guess maybe you give him the 3 minutes that Josh Okogie got. Like, that's nice. But other than that, like, who are you taking minutes from? You're not going to play him over Grayson or Royce, and the big three's the big three. So, I don't know.
I think it'd be very unpopular to take minutes from guys like Royce and Grayson and give them to Ryan Dunn. But I still think that there's an argument that he fits better with this team than either of those guys do, because he adds, maybe not Royce, but maybe Grayson, where
Sure.
he has shown the ability to hit an open three early in the season. He's a better defender than Grayson Allen. And the Suns team doesn't need more redundancy shooting the basketball. They've got guys that can do that. Here's what I would ask you. And it's something we were talking about before the show started. If Ryan Dunn doesn't make noticeable adjustments at the trade deadline, I want to revisit this with you. Mm-hmm. Would you be willing to move him in a deal if you really don't have a spot for him to go, and that deal being basically just Jimmy Butler? Because I already told you no, but if that changed, would that change your mind?
I still think that the potential of what Ryan Dunn can be is too good to give up for a 35-year-old player who, even if you re-sign him, he's a short-term addition to the team. He is your all-in move to go for it while Kevin Durant is still playing at an elite level. Ryan Dunn, if he becomes even close to what his ceiling is, you could have him on this team for 10 years. So I can't say goodbye to that, because I already know what he is. I've already seen flashes. Whereas the 2031 pick, gone. I don't even need to. I have no emotional attachment. I have no idea what that's going to be. This is a real player you have right now that can help you. So I can't throw that away.
I would have to agree with you. I would be curious to hear what some of our audience thinks, but because I'm still huge on Ryan Dunn. I still think he's going to be a good player, but it is painful for me to see the talent that he has and the attributes that he can add to this team, especially defensively, and get out and get a transition bucket, and just the young youthfulness that he adds to this team. It just gets a little frustrating seeing him get 7 minutes a game sometimes, or 8 minutes, but that's the rookie treatment Bud's going to do, and he's not going to give him too much. I just hope it doesn't come back to bite them in the butt come playoff time when they need him, and he's not experienced enough. So, but who knows? With all the injuries, he might end up getting stuff.
He probably will. Fascinating test for him at this inflection point where not only is there pressure every time he's on the court, but he's also watching his minutes dwindle. How does he respond to, let me earn that place that I had that first couple weeks of the year and in the preseason? And I'll be excited to see if he can do that. Let's get to the return of one of those injured players. Bradley Beal back again. He never left, or maybe he was always gone, however you want to look at it. But he's here again on Thursday night. What can we expect with Beal back in the lineup next? First, today's show brought to you by Built. If you're a renter, listen up. This is a total game changer. Thanks to Built Rewards, you can now earn points on rent payments just like you do with groceries or travel. Paying rent now comes with serious perks, and it's completely free to join. Earn valuable Built points on your rent and everyday spending at no extra cost, while accessing unique experiences that are exclusive to Built members. I love traveling. That's obvious to say. Everybody loves traveling. What I particularly love is when I just say, it's in your hands. I don't want to spend a bunch of money, but I'll go for it if it's something that's going to take care of itself for me. And that's exactly what Built Rewards does, except, frankly, with money you're already spending. 500 airlines, 700,000 hotels in their program. So start earning points on rent you're already paying. Take advantage with those travel points by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA, and make sure you use our link so they know we sent you. Don't wait. Start earning rewards today. Today's show also brought to you by Game Time, the best place to buy any ticket. Game Time is all about togetherness this holiday season, and that means when you bring people together at live events, the experience gets that much better. It's also the perfect gift this time of year. So bring your family on to something here in the Valley in the month of December, or buy awesome tickets for anybody you know, wherever they might be, all with Game Time and their awesome Game Time Picks feature. You just flip open the city that you're in, the city that your friend or family is in, that you're gifting to. Scroll right through the best value tickets, the most affordable for what you're getting, right there up top with Game Time picks, and an awesome selection of events, sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time by downloading the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, Ben, let's keep it rolling here. I got to say about the shirt. My mom got me this shirt, by the way. She went to Minneapolis. That's why I've worn it on the podcast before. Maybe the everydayers remember when I first got it.
Were you thinking about that the entire segment?
No, when I put the little graphic on and then the Minnesota popped back up on the screen, I was like, I got to defend myself a little bit.
When I was in Minnesota, I saw an astounding lack of Timberwolves jerseys anywhere. Everyone is a Vikings fan, but no, I didn't see a lot of Timberwolves stuff, which was kind of surprising being in there. Well, beautiful city though. I was actually kind of surprised. Very beautiful city.
My mom goes there for work from time to time, and for whatever reason, she decided to spend the night at Timberwolves Trailblazers in like March of last season, and she was like, I bought you a t-shirt. She knows I like Ant. She heard that somehow.
Your mom is such a sweet lady. Wow. My mother would not do that. She would have told me to Venmo her.
Probably because she felt bad that she was going to an NBA game, which she doesn't even care. And I'm like, I'd love to go. Why don't you fly me out there? All right, let's talk about Bradley Beal returning. Let's just go over, I guess, kind of the big picture of this Beal season real quick on this occasion of his return, Ben. I believe it 17 games that he's played? 15 games that he's played out of 25 for the Suns. So that is already real quick. He played 53 of 82 last year. What would you take? Over, under?
Under.
So he's at 15 of 25. What is that percentage-wise? That is 60%. 0.6 times 82 is he's on pace to play 49. So you're making a good bet there.
Yeah, no, there's no chance. This year, it feels like they're even being more. Last year, we never had knee soreness. Mm-hmm. The dude was out for an elbow, Brendon. They're taking any scenario. Seriously, man, I hate to speak it into existence, but I would be negative 50% surprised if Bradley Beal rolled an ankle tomorrow. I mean, the dude is just like, I mean, let's be honest. I would make this bet with you. Does he ever play 8 games straight all year?
8 games straight.
8 games
straight. I want to see what his longest stretch this season has been. Not 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. I think he plays 8. I think he'll play 8.
No chance. No chance.
Let's see. Did he do it? Did he do that last season? I'm sure he did by the end. He was
probably
for
last
a while.
year.
Yeah, he played
last year because that last 10 games he played.
He played 24 games in a row in the middle of the season, and then he played 23 games in a row to close the season. So he'll clear 8. He'll clear 8.
No, I don't know about all that, man.
This feels so mean to him, doesn't it? Like, he's a person,
that was something today that people are treating Bradley Beal really harshly. Like they are going after him like he's Aaron Rodgers, like he's being condescending with the media, like he's thinks he's better than he is. Like, guys, at the end of the day, the dude is just injured. He's not trying to take $50 million from everyone. He gives his all every time he's out there. And these two narratives of going after Beal and just turning him to like this supervillain because fans are just very emotional and feel some type of way towards him. And then the idea of like him being washed because he's taking less shots and because he's a little injured. The guy is 31. When he plays, he's pretty good, or at least good. The problem is he doesn't really ever play. That's kind of the issue with Bradley Beal. But those two things, man, people are taking a real bludgeoning to Bradley Beal over the past couple of days. And for me, it's like, man, they can't wait to ship him out of here. And I'm kind of like, listen, I don't hate the guy. I'm just a little frustrated that he can't stay healthy, but I digress.
He reminds me like in the NBA right now, he's like Kristaps Porzingis, right? It's like Boston has a better roster outside of Porzingis, so that's why they're still good anyway. But it's like, you hope you can get him for more than half of the regular season and then that he's healthy in the playoffs. I mean, I kind of wanted to say like Amari Stoudemire from more of a Sun standpoint, but at least when Stoudemire was healthy in a season, he was healthy. Like
Dominant.
he would play 82 games. It would just be then the next year he'd like be out, but like
He blew
he
up his
had
knee.
80, 82, 79, 82, and then by the end it obviously fell off, but yeah, there's a lot of players like this, but you're absolutely right. It's not Ben Simmons. It's not Zion Williamson where they're just, cavalier about their
And they
their
all have
health.
and,
It's
and
just
they all have their
he's
own issues,
breaking
right?
down.
Like that's a real the Zion Williamson comp is really, really good because Zion Williamson is in trouble for, I don't know, having nefarious things with other women, adult
Sure.
actresses, and he's got a weight issue, and it just seems like the guy up here, it never clicked. Like Bradley Beal's mature, and he's always taken the
Family
high road.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people just hate him now, and I'm like, okay, let's ease up on Beal a little bit. Like Jimmy Butler also missed a lot of games last year as well, and has missed a decent amount of games this year.
Heat fans are tired of that too, and Pat Riley told him, "Stay on the court, my brother." So, yeah, I think it just comes with the territory of if you're paid a hell of a lot of money and you're inconsistently available, it just starts to bite you. But
He's like Tobias Harris. He's like our Harris from the 76ers last year. They
he
hate
pretty
that
much
guy,
is.
but
Yeah.
not me. I'm still standing by my guy as long as he's healthy. But I will
question I
ship
wanna-
him out for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
ship
exactly.
him out for Jimmy Butler.
You also, kind of excommunicated him from the team a couple weeks ago, and you wanted him to come off the bench, but it's fine. The thing I wanted to throw at you is to
Not
circle back.
excommunicated for coming off the bench. Sorry.
No, and you said him and Nurkic should both just be as good as gone a couple weeks ago when we had an episode.
I was
but no,
I was young then. I'm mature now. Sorry. What was your question?
What I wanted to throw back at you was circling back to something we talked about yesterday, which is I made this point that like the fit of these guys has been a problem because none of them, and obviously by saying that, I just mean Beal hasn't really, really fully embraced being an off-ball player. And I kind of made the point that his version of adjustment and sacrifice, if you want to call it that, has mostly just been what you just mentioned, taking less shots versus taking just as many shots and being just as aggressive, but taking different kinds of shots. But I was digging a little bit in. He has, again, his last year at Washington, 46% of his shots came from the mid-range. He cut that by a lot last year, and he cut it by a lot again this year. It's down to 35%, so basically a third of his shots are from mid-range. It's still a lot for most players, but it's a lot less than his peak. And he was at less than a quarter of his shots from three in his last season at Washington. He's up to 39% of his shots are from three now. So he's taken another step forward in terms of the shot diet and the way that it needs to look. I just think it's still not enough. Like, I can pat him on the back for that, but I guess I kind of just come back to, like, it's got to be even more extreme if this is going to work.
Unless
it's not
he
really
goes,
a question for you. My question was, like, why does it not feel like it? But I guess we kind of know the answer to that.
You know what's crazy is it does feel like it. It does feel like he's taken a huge diet, but it only works like that. He doesn't have to take a bigger diet if he goes to the bench. It's the only way it works, man. Like, I feel like stylistically that would fit him better. And I read up on the rules today for everyone that gets upset about this. You actually do get to keep all of your money if you go to the bench. You don't actually lose any of that money if you go to the bench. I know, crazy. I looked it up in the CBA today. Yeah, you can't just take away money. So I think him to the bench, man. That argument is going to get louder and louder, but it only works if Beal wants it. But he's continuously taking a back seat. I feel like that still might be something that he could do.
Ray Allen in Boston and Miami, basically half of his shots were from three-point range. Klay Thompson, during the years when, well, really all the years, but especially once KD got there, 45+% of his shots came from deep. That's basically the benchmark, I think. 45%, 45 to 50, and Beal's
You say he's at
39.
37 right now.
39. So that's why that's kind of
He's got to be a
standard
good
there.
3-point shooter too, man. He's got to be efficient. That's
Yeah.
like the biggest thing. And he hasn't always been. He's been actually pretty good this year from 3 when he plays.
Yeah, last year 43%. This year dipped a little to 36, but kind of up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of starts tonight. I think you and I are in agreement.
Probable though. We didn't even mention that. Probable.
He's going to continue to start, I think. I don't think our conversation from yesterday is going to click into place right away. But, he is kind of on alert, I think, right now, based on the ins and outs that he's had. Let's talk about the games themselves. Can the Suns beat the Pistons? Can they beat the Pacers? We'll break those games down next. First, today's show brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook, the best place to make a bet. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and that is because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Let's check out the world of college basketball. Old, reliable. Oh, wow. Minus 6,000. Marquette. Oh, I guess it's already in the second half. That's probably not where we're trying to go. Alabama. Oh, no. They're playing as well, too. Sorry, guys. Let's keep it rolling here. Minus 30,000. There we are. Georgia hosting Buffalo on Thursday. Put your $5 down there. Get that W and get started with $150 in bonus bets when you win. All at FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Ben, let's close it out. Reminder to sign up for the Locked On Suns daily newsletter. I don't think I've said that yet. We're in 11th place. I think we can do better. We're almost to 500 subscribers. I think we can get 1,000. It's fine. I'm not pressed about it, but I know you guys can do it. So get that, support the show and get that awesome content in your email inbox. It's free, so help us out. Okay. The Pacers and Pistons, Ben, both have similar records. I would not have guessed that if I had looked at this part of the Suns' schedule. How comfortable are you right now even saying, the Suns should just win that game?
No. I already had this issue.
Can you be confident enough with that
right
now?
No. I already had this issue with the Brooklyn Nets a couple weeks ago. And then you had to jinx it. You texted me man, I've got a bad feeling about this game. And the Suns were throttled in that game by the Nets. It wasn't ever close. And Kevin Durant was in that game. And Devin Booker was in that game. And if I'm not mistaken, Bradley Beal was in that game. Although I'd have to check my notes given that guy. But no, not a shot in the world. No. If Cade Cunningham went off for 45 points tomorrow, would anyone be surprised? No. Well, with Kevin Durant defensively, maybe. But I have zero faith in this team.
Well, I would be because the Pacers are the opponent tomorrow.
Okay. Well, that's because I got to scroll up just a tad, and there's the Pacers. I was looking at the Pistons game.
I wouldn't be surprised by that, though. But at the same time, I actually think these games are a little more winnable than that Brooklyn game, for instance, because that game scared me for a very particular reason, and it came to fruition, which is that they had small creators who the Suns have always struggled with. They've just never had a defender for those guys, and they still don't. And Indiana, Halliburton, one, he's not really small and doesn't really play like, some of those guys would, but he's also having a down season. And then Cade's like, poor man's Luka type of play style, not so much like the jitterbug like De'Aaron Fox or, Cam Thomas or Jalen Brunson type. So I think that they should be able to take care of business and win these games. They're both at home. They're not a back-to-back. This is just the wins that you have to stack when you are healthy and you're playing worse teams.
And the Pacers are not good, man. They're just not a good team right now. They've taken a step back from last year. Tyrese Halliburton is not the same guy. Miles Turner could be on the trade block. They are on the verge of imploding after last year, adding Pascal Siakam to the mix. It is I'm more concerned about the Pistons, believe it or not, than I am the Pacers. I guess that's maybe not super concerned or bold, but Cade Cunningham, Thompson, they've got a bunch of guys on that team that are just young. Jaden Ivey's there. Just a bunch of dudes on that
Ivy
team
would,
that
I
have
guess,
their-
maybe fit the mold of what I was just saying. So maybe you worry about him even more than Cade.
Jalen Durant is there. Like they just have a bunch of young guys that on any given night they don't know what they don't know. So if there's either one of these two games that I'm more concerned about, it's the Pistons game, given the fact the Suns are going to be coming off a long rest. Bradley Beal's back. They're at home. Here's what I hear. The Suns do have a little bit of a window here to get some quality wins and then potentially stack a couple against the Nuggets. Can't wait to see how Yusuf Nurkic does against Nikola Jokic in a couple of weeks.
Why do they have to play the Nuggets twice in a row? Couldn't they spread
Yeah,
that
that was
out?
stupid. That was really stupid. Dude, they're
Especially,
going...
it's not even like they're both here. If they were
No,
both here,
it's
I would
in-
get it because you're cutting down on travel, but it's not.
It's in Ball Arena, and then 2 days later, it's in freaking Phoenix on Christmas.
Yeah.
I might
I know
add.
the cities
That
are
was-
close, but come on. What are we doing?
They're not that close. Like it's not that easy to get everyone over there, especially in one day. It's annoying. Anyways,
Yeah.
I wanted to throw this out there too because this came out today, and I'm surprised we didn't say, "Hey, let's mention this at the end of the show." Matt Ishbia, man, making things more affordable at the arena. Do you know you can get like? First off, did you know that soda was cheaper than water beforehand? But they have the value menu now. You can get a hot dog, a drink. You can feed. It is literally cheaper than Costco to go to a Suns game and eat now. So Ishbia,
I would like for him to keep those prices the same at concerts because I believe I've paid like $9 for a water bottle seeing a show at Footprint Center.
with the like Dasani can water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we make that like, it doesn't have to be 2. I get it. Like 4. Can we do $4 for that?
But it is a.
Can we make the beer a little cheaper too while we're at it, Matt? Come on. I'm greedy.
just-
You gave me an inch. I'm taking a mile.
as every other owner, Cohen signing Juan Soto or whoever it is, right? They go out and go get these guys and they say, hey, listen, we're going to pay for it in concessions. We're going to figure it out here. Ishbia has spent more money. There, $15 million and $1 trillion over the second tax apron, and he's doubling down. He gave away to Suns Broadcasting. You can see it anywhere. You just need an antenna. They would send you an antenna. And now he's cutting down on food prices. Like, listen, man, I know people got an issue with billionaires and millionaires because people could argue, should anyone be that? Maybe not. Maybe. But this guy
They just
continues to
opened
put
that
put
luxury
his money where his
club
mouth is, dude.
in the arena. So maybe we'll make our money back there. We'll charge the common folk a little less for their, processed meat.
He's Robinhood. He's stealing from the rich and giving to the poor.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I respect it. I love it. I mean,
It
that's
is-
the number one thing people complain about when they go to a sports game is that
It's
the
crazy,
tickets are the
man.
tickets, whatever. But the amount that you're paying if you're going to like have dinner, what are you going to have a PB&J at 3:30 before you leave for the game? No, you got to buy food. And then if it's $20 for like a crappy pizza and whatever, you start to go a little crazy. So this will make a difference. The D-backs have had this kind of option for a while.
Yep,
and
they have.
I think people really like it, and the Suns are doing the same.
Good for
It's not
Ishbia,
gonna be-
man.
Yeah,
Keeps on doing the right thing.
It's not going
Keeps
to be
on doing it.
everybody's thing, but it should be an option, right?
I listen. The people that still listen. My wife is not going to eat a $2 hot dog. She's still going to go get the
Exactly,
$10
exactly. But
the $10 something else because she's not me, and I'll wash it down with friggin' fountain water. But the gesture is there, and he's continuously leading this new ownership ideology, and he has practiced what he's preached. He has not been cheap. He is the complete opposite of Sarver and still giving back. That deserves real compliments to Ishbia, who is a listener of the show, Brendon. So Ishbia, Matt, if you're listening, thanks for making hot dogs more affordable. I appreciate it.
So we usually get like some nice fish or like a cut of meat
It's so
as
good.
media.
It's so good.
Are you going to do the hot dog instead tomorrow?
So I wasn't gonna tell everyone that we just get like really good food.
Well, that's also
before-
courtesy of Matt. We didn't get
that
that
is
under the old
courtesy
guy
of Matt.
either.
I wasn't
so-
gonna mention that because then it feels like we're being big. But listen, Matt, the food that you serve before the games. I mean, listen,
Thanks,
I
brother.
look forward to game days. I get upset when I can't make them. So I heard Sarver made everyone pay for that. The Diamondbacks, I believe, still make the media pay for that. That's what I've heard. Ishbia paying for us. And then I learned later on at halftime, you can go get a hot dog and stuff for free. And I'm like, listen,
Probably the
Matt,
same hot dog that's $2.
Well,
Full
yes.
circle.
Yes. And I'm like, listen, Matt, you're doing too much now. Give this to the common folk, who is me. But still, it was Matt Ishbia, man. Still doing good things.
Salute to Matt Ishbia.
My
That'll
wife
wrap
just
us
texted
up.
me. Just so she can hear this now. My wife just texted me because she can hear me in the other room. She said, "Why are you painting me like a diva?" I'm not painting her like a diva. My wife is awesome, but she might like a salad or a
I'll be on
sandwich
her side. I
and a
wouldn't
hot
probably
dog.
want the hot dog either.
Brendon also doesn't want the hot dog, Lex. So we're even. Brendon is also a diva. So now we're all even.
I'm a diva.
My wife
I'm
is
a diva
great.
who
She's
likes
awesome.
Anthony Edwards. That'll tie a bow on the show. Hit follow, subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. Becoming every day. We'll have a show for you after Suns versus Pacers late Thursday night after the buzzer. Enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy the game, and we'll catch you then.